Welcome back to my channel. My name is Javon. I am a narrative artist. I use words and pictures to tell stories that celebrate the full humanity of people with marginalized identities. Today I want to share with you about a piece that I made last year. This one is a really fun one for me to share with you because it really stretched me a great deal as an artist. Before I returned to working with pencil and paper or traditional visual arts media, I was working in fibers a lot. I had learned how to make clothing, and so I have tons of fabric in my house, all kinds of fabric. I was making clothes and curtains and stuffed toys for the children in my life. And in 2024, I participated in what's called an art dare, where there's a challenge presented and you have to create a piece of artwork within the limitations of that challenge. And earlier in the year, I was really interested in this idea of collage portraiture. So taking the planes of the face and creating the shapes of those planes with collage materials. And I had done a piece at the very beginning of the year digitally where I drew the shapes of my face, and then I created paper digitally to then create the collage in the digital piece. I was really proud of it. I really enjoyed it. And then later in the year there was an art dare, and I really wanted to try this collage technique, but I wanted to do it physically with real materials. And I thought, oh, what if I did it with fabric? So I found some fabric in my stash and I painted them the different shades of the singular color to make these monochromatic collages of my own face. And I called it Expressive Eyes because it was just photos of this much of my face. Because you didn't need to see my mouth or my body language to be able to read the expressions. And I had a lot of fun making those pieces, and I ended up making 6 of them. And that sort of opened up this idea for me of like, how could I continue to explore portraiture through color and shape and using fabric as a medium to do that. A few months later, I tried the same technique with a new image. It was a royalty-free, clear for commercial use photograph that I found, and I thought that the woman was striking. And I really loved the use of shadow and light in this image. It had a really great contrast, which is something that I use a lot in my monochromatic work. And so I wanted to experiment with using this same technique with a person that is not me. By this time I had done this technique 6 times, and so I felt a lot more comfortable doing it, and I felt like the final product was really beautiful. The feedback that I got was that the piece was very small. And again, to me, I was like, this is huge. It's 12 by 12. I've never made anything this big before. You know, my biggest piece was maybe an 8 by 10, I think, at the time. So I wanted to try again with a larger canvas. Started with another royalty-free, clear for commercial use image of a woman. I really liked the expression that she was making. I couldn't quite nail it, but I liked that we were sort of below her sightline, and there was a certain level of intensity that I appreciated in her eyes. So I made a sketch from her photo, and I played around with the background, and while I was playing around with the background, I thought about, like, what would it be like if she were either like looking up at the stars, or if she were like in the stars herself, you know, kind of like Octavia Butler, Starseed kind of energy. And so yeah, so I started experimenting with backgrounds that I thought might be like galactic, you know, and I settled on like this pink and purple kind of vibe, and then for some reason changed my mind I don't know, but I decided to change it and make it sort of like day glow, and borrow more from the blues that are in her skin. I really liked the idea of the woman being part of the stars. It reminded me of, there's a song lyric by India Ari where she says, we're made up of the same stuff as the moon and the stars, right? So the idea that like we are also stardust, and so how could I communicate this idea of us being connected to what's bigger than us, what's beyond us, through this image? And I thought one of the ways that I could do that was by connecting colors that are represented in her figure with the colors that are represented in the background, right? The background being the galactic star universe motif. And I think that's what was really missing from the first iteration of this piece. In the first round, I thought that I did okay, right? I thought the colors were okay, but I wasn't really happy with it. I didn't feel like it was finished. And I showed it twice in 2 different shows, and it didn't sell in either of those shows. And I thought, you know, now that I have it again, I'm gonna it's been shown twice, it hasn't sold. I'm going to take it back and I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna do what I wanted to do the first time. So I won't doubt myself, I won't think too much about it. I'm just gonna do what I felt like I should have done the first time. And so I worked on it again, and I made those changes where the background draws from the same color palette that's present in the figure. And I added some gold ink. I used acrylic ink for some of the gold to give it some shimmer, right? So like if you think about those images in like the Hubble telescope, you can see that it's like cloudy in certain places because there's dust and particles and all kinds of things that are catching the light from the stars. Sometimes the stars are in front of the clouds and sometimes they're behind the clouds, and I wanted that feeling to come through with the background as well. And one of the things that I really loved about this piece, when I made it, when I put the figure together the first time, I was so concerned about placing all of the pieces exactly where they were in the photo. I wanted to have the same realism that a photograph offered, and I didn't achieve that. I had, things, I placed things too close or too far, or I moved things while I was applying the adhesive, and part of me felt like I had failed in completing this image to the quality that I felt it should be in order for me to sell it. And I felt self-conscious about it. And when I showed it this third time, after I had made those adjustments and changed the background to be more like my original intention, when I arrived, the piece had sold while I wasn't even there. The piece had sold before I could get there. Someone saw it and they connected with it and they took it home. And I was so over the moon happy. This was my second sale and I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe it had happened. And then they showed me a photo of the person who bought the painting, and she looked so much like my painting. So there were no mistakes made. This image was for her, and it was for her. She needed to see herself this way, maybe. I don't know why she decided to buy it, but I imagine it had something to do with the fact that she could see herself in it. And if I had been so perfectionistic about it that I, started over or didn't show it because I didn't feel like it was up to par, then it never would have made it to this person who it was actually made for. If you like what you see, please stick around. You can like, subscribe, share to help me grow my channel and help me to reach people who might be interested in the work that I do. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.